Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. It is the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. Our first story in this episode is from Indianapolis, Indiana, where there was a police action shooting earlier this afternoon. It is the 28th of January, Thursday afternoon. This occurred at 30th and Shadeland. Let's listen to the IMPD update.
Like always, the information I'm going to provide right now is going to be preliminary information. This is a very new and fresh investigation. And so as the investigators do their work, more facts and circumstances will come out. And so I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. I'm also not going to provide a tremendous amount of information because there's some information we just don't know at this point. What I can tell you is that today at 12:58 p.m., here at the intersection of 30th and Shadeland, we had an officer that was stopped at the intersection facing southbound, heading toward roll call. In front of him were two trucks. At some point during that, while sitting there, occupants of each of the trucks got out and began shooting at each other. Our officer, obviously this was at some points an active shooter investigation. The officer also engaged and fired his weapon. At that point, both of the individuals that were in the trucks fled from the area. The officer was able to follow one of the cars east on 30th Street, or he lost sight of that car. A short time later, there was a dispatch run of a person shot at 6600 East 34th Street, north of here. And a short time after that, there was a person that showed up at Community East Hospital also with gunshot wounds. So what we have is two people shot, an adult white male, 44 years old, in stable but critical condition. One black male, 19 years old, a stable condition at Eskenazi Hospital. We're working three different scenes right now. 30th Street to the east from here, 34th and Shadeland, and right here at 30th and Shadeland. We believe at this point these persons shot are all connected to this particular incident, but there's still some work to do to make sure that that's actually the case. We also don't know who's responsible for shooting who, whether the officer shot one of the individuals or both the individuals, or the individuals shot by each other as they engaged in a gunfight here at this intersection. I will say that our East District officers and our North District officers and our interdiction officers were all working in this area. This is an area of concern and high violence area for our police department. And so they were in this area doing exactly what we want them to do. However, this officer that we know of had no interactions prior to this shootout, just happened to be at this location when this occurred. Let's see. We have recovered weapons from, I believe, both scenes. I know of one for sure, but I think that we recovered a weapon also from someone at 34th and Shadeland as well. I will tell you that the officer was in plain clothes in an unmarked police car, in an undercover police car. There is no dash cam video. There is no body cam video. The officer was working in plain clothes. Our plain clothes officers do not utilize body cams. We'll be recovering video from the nearby businesses and looking at that, as well as interviewing witnesses, civilian witnesses who were at the scene at the same time that this occurred. That is all the information that I have and know at this point.
Do you know in what order this happened? How did somebody end up at 6695 34th? Was that before they started?
No, no, we believe that when they fled here, they went that direction. There's skid marks and things in the street, so it appears that if the cars took off, one went that way, one went north, and one went east on 30th Street. That's what it appears.
Is that a crime scene under the gas pump, or is that just maybe you guys all just gathered?
No, there's nothing that we know of that happened at the gas station. I don't know the answer to that question. Nothing that I know of happened at the gas station. Everything happened at the intersection here at 30th and Shadeland. The officers was driving his car, so the cars were parked in the street here, and it happened right in front of him in the street.
I heard traffic in the scanner. Were there several cars hit with gunfire?
I don't know about any other cars hit with gunfire. I know that there were other civilian witnesses here that are being interviewed by certain detectives at this point. The officer involved is white. No community danger at this point. The officer's on administrative leave, as is the standard policy and the routine when the officers are engaged in officer-involved shootings. Internal Affairs is out here as well. Marion County Prosecutor's Office is out here running their separate investigation. The I-8 runs the administrative investigation. The Critical Incident Response Team is the criminal investigators in this matter. They're all parallel investigations. Once CERT is complete, they'll submit their findings to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, who has multiple options at their disposal to deal with the outcome of this case. But that's pretty much it I have right now. We'll update you all as more information is available.
Chris, you got one car, you got one vehicle at 34th, one vehicle over here, correct?
Yes.
So how does the guy end up at the
That's a question that we're answering right now. There was a possibility that he could exchange cars in the gap between when the officer lost him and when he ended up at communities. That's why we have to make sure that when I said that, we believe they're all connected, we're going to make sure through the investigation that they are. What's that? No one is deceased right now. Both the people that are shot are confirmed stable condition. Don't know that yet. It appears multiple shots, yes. There was a fire at that location. I can't tell you if it was a crash involved or if it was, due to, damage sustained as, trying to flee the area. We don't know if they shot at the officer or not at this point. All right, thank you.
So our first story, breaking news out of Indianapolis, a police action shooting. It does not appear that it was racially motivated. However, it was the result of gunfire exchanged between two individuals, a 44-year-old white male and a 19-year-old black male. There may be racial implications involved there. Only time will tell as the investigation unfolds. Our second story tonight, back on Monday on the American Doofus Show, I mentioned that I had been hearing some chatter that there may be another attack possibly coming upon the Capitol. And we have our first report of troops moving back in. The Massachusetts National Guard will be returning to Washington, D.C. for possibly 1 month. The first video we saw on the breaking news was from WISH-TV in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is from Boston, Massachusetts, Channel 5.
To leave this week for the nation's capital. They're expected to be there for about a month or so. Now, it was just this past weekend that National Guard troops from Massachusetts, 500 of them returned back here home. This second group of 700 troops is being requested by the Department of Defense and the Secret Service. This deployment coincides with the article of impeachment being delivered to the Senate today, and the trial is expected to start in about 2 weeks. Now, there are more concerns about violence in Washington, including a number of threats aimed at members of Congress. Law enforcement officials in Washington, they are planning for the possibility of armed protesters returning to Washington for the impeachment trial. We're live in Boston tonight. John Atwater, WCVB News Center 5. John.
Our third story on the American Doofus Show tonight involves the Proud Boys. It appears their leader may have been a government informant for quite some time.
Enrique Tarrio is the leader of the extremist group, the Proud Boys. He also has a, quote, prolific past as an informer for federal and local law enforcement, repeatedly working undercover for investigators after he was arrested in 2012. That's according to a former prosecutor and a transcript of a 2014 federal court proceeding obtained by Reuters. In a hearing in Miami, a federal prosecutor, an FBI agent, and Tarrio's own lawyer described his undercover work, saying he had helped authorities prosecute more than a dozen people in various cases involving drugs, gambling, and human smuggling. Tarrio's lawyer said in court that his client was a, quote, prolific cooperator. In an interview with Reuters Tuesday, Tarrio denied working undercover or cooperating in cases against others. Quote, I don't know any of this, he said when asked about the transcript, adding, quote, I don't recall any of this. Law enforcement officials and the court transcript contradict Tarrio's denial. The 36-year-old is a high-profile figure who organizes and leads the right-wing Proud Boys in their confrontations with those they believe to be Antifa. In many pictures, members of the Proud Boys, clad in their signature yellow outfits, can often be seen flashing the white power sign. Washington police arrested Tarrio in early January when he arrived in the city 2 days before the Capitol Hill riot. He was charged with possessing 2 high-capacity rifle magazines and burning a Black Lives Matter banner during a December demonstration by supporters of former President Donald Trump. The DC Superior Court ordered him to leave the city pending a court date in June. Though Tarrio did not take part in the Capitol insurrection, at least 5 Proud Boys members have been charged in the riot. The former federal prosecutor in Tarrio's case, Vanessa St. Johannes, said she was surprised that the defendant she prosecuted for fraud is now a key player in the violent movement that sought to halt the certification of President Joe Biden. Quote, "I knew that he was a fraudster," she said, but, quote, "had no reason to know that he was also a domestic terrorist."
That video came from Reuters. Now, why is it important that the leader of the Proud Boys may be a snitch and may be an informant on the rest of the Proud Boys? Well, it seems that they, along with the Oath Keepers, were integral in planning the attack January 6th on our nation's capital. This from the Wall Street Journal.
The best organization in the world.
And what is that?
The Proud Boys.
Hell yeah.
One of the most prominent groups to storm the Capitol on January 6th was the Proud Boys, a right-wing extremist group whose members described themselves as Western chauvinists.
The Proud Boys are taking over DC.
The Wall Street Journal analyzed hundreds of videos from the riot, social media posts, court filings, and interviewed participants in the events and experts on extremism in an effort to piece together the most complete picture of the Proud Boys' role in the events that day. The Journal's investigation shows Proud Boys coordinating, instigating, and leading some of the most pivotal moments of the rush into the historic building that disrupted lawmakers' certification of the presidential election and resulted in the death of 5 people, including 1 police officer. About 7 Proud Boys have been arrested so far for their actions at the Capitol, more than any other right-wing group there that day. Proud Boy chairman Enrique Tarrio told the Journal the Proud Boys didn't coordinate their actions or intend to storm the Capitol, and many of the threats that the Journal pointed out were meant as a joke. He also said the Proud Boys don't condone violence unless in self-defense. Tarrio wasn't at the Capitol that day because he was arrested days before and charged with destruction of property and was banned from the city. The Proud Boys first earned mainstream attention when President Trump didn't denounce white supremacists and right-wing militia groups in a September presidential debate.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by, but I'll tell you what, somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left.
The moment emboldened the group. Its leader, Enrique Tarrio, posted a message on social media shortly after, saying simply, "Standing by, sir." It has been widely reported that the group planned to attend a rally at the Capitol on January 6th to protest election results. Joe Biggs, another leader, called for violence on social media.
All right, guys, you want to see all the Proud Boys out here today? Here we go. Everybody cover up.
On the day of the event, more than 100 Proud Boys from around the country were there.
Montana.
Idaho. Like this channel.
A Proud Boy live streamer named Eddie Block extensively filmed the group as they met and coordinated.
I know, right?
Block declined to comment.
I know exactly.
In the morning, before a rally near the White House with President Trump, the Proud Boys meet on the east side of the Capitol. Biggs can be seen organizing groups of Proud Boys. He's equipped with a radio.
If you're on the outside, making sure you're looking on the outside of the perimeter and what's sneaking up on us.
Biggs has since been arrested, and charging documents say he aided, abetted, and commanded others to unlawfully enter the Capitol.
Big boss man, Joe B.
Biggs and his attorney did not respond to multiple requests for comment.
Milkshake's afraid of me because I'm kicking. No.
Dan Scott, a Proud Boy known as Milkshake, can be heard shouting.
Anyway.
Tighten up, boy. Tighten up.
but is chastised by others.
Listen up, you can yell that, all right?
Just milkshake, man.
What he yelled was, let's take the fucking Capitol, just to be clear.
Some individuals who would hours later participate in the riot can be seen taking part in the rendezvous. There's Michael Porter, who identified himself to the Journal as a Proud Boy. This man, whose identity the Journal could not fully confirm in interviews, social media searches, and court documents, can be seen with the group throughout the day, instigating the mob. And Robert Gieswein, who's also with the group throughout the day and is wearing patches suggesting affiliation with Proud Boys and right-wing groups.
I gotta get one of these.
Rallied by Biggs and another leader, Ethan Nordine, known as Rufio, the Proud Boys coalesce and march on the Capitol. Nordine declined to comment.
2 men on a mission with about 500 behind them ready to kick some butt, standing for this country.
So the Proud Boys coming in.
Around 12:50 p.m., while President Trump has taken the stage at a nearby rally, another live streamer captures the Proud Boys approaching the Capitol from the northwest and encountering a small police presence behind a temporary barrier. Biggs huddles with an individual in a red hat and carrying a flag. Who just minutes later is the first to charge the barriers. Proud Boys can be seen in the crowd. Porter told the Journal that he participated in a protest, not a riot, and that he did not enter the Capitol. The few police officers there quickly fall back. And the Proud Boys make up a large portion of the first wave to reach the base of the Capitol.
They're rushing the Capitol! They're rushing the Capitol!
Proud Boys are among those who square off with Capitol Police at the base of the building. Dominic Pizzola, a Proud Boy and military veteran known as Spazzo, is on the front lines with a wire in his ear. Pizzola's attorney told the Journal his client did not coordinate his actions with anyone and that the radio earpiece was for listening to music. This man, who continues to be seen with the Proud Boys, appears to be directing members of the mob to the left side of the police line. He then leads a chant. Gieswein is nearby. Nordine, Biggs, and other leadership also take prominent places on the front line near the Capitol steps. A protracted battle between rioters and outnumbered police ensues. And Proud Boys like Pizzola can be seen throughout key parts of the confrontation. Around 1:37, Gieswein tries to push through the police barriers. And an hour later, rioters try to flank the police by climbing scaffolding. Pizzola takes part in the charge. And Gieswein sprays police with an unidentified substance. Gieswein was arrested for assaulting a federal officer, destruction of government property, entering a restricted area, and disrupting Congress. Gieswein's attorney declined to comment. At At around 2:12, Pizzola breaks a window to the Capitol with a police shield. He and Gieswein are among the first rioters to enter the building. Pizzola was arrested on January 15th for unlawful entry, destruction of government property, and obstruction of an official proceeding. Inside the Capitol, a crowd of rioters encounter Officer Eugene Goodman. They follow him up a set of stairs, coming perilously close to the lawmakers who are just down the hall through the doorway to the left of Goodman. Pizzola and Gieswein are in the crowd. Entering the building close behind is Biggs.
It's over!
Around the same time, at the base of the building, the police line is breaking apart, and crowds storm more entrances. As larger groups of rioters breach the building, parts of the Proud Boys contingent make it inside. Nicholas Oakes, leader of the Hawaii chapter of the Proud Boys, was arrested after boasting about entering the Capitol on social media. Oakes and his attorney declined to comment.
I'm right here.
According to the charging documents from Miami Proud Boy Gabriel Garcia, he roamed the Capitol calling for Nancy Pelosi to, quote, come out and play. A lawyer for Garcia said that he did not damage property or commit violence at the Capitol. His comments about Pelosi were in jest, and he wants nothing to do with the Proud Boys. Since the riot, Proud Boys leadership has tried to downplay their role. But the Journal's investigation shows that at every key breach of the Capitol's defenses, the Proud Boys and members of their contingent are at the forefront of the mob and can be seen coordinating and instigating. Authorities have arrested about 7 Proud Boys so far for their role in the attack. Other Proud Boys have threatened more violence.
Jake, this is a shot across the back. Like, next time we come armed.
Porter told the Journal he made this statement as an individual, not as a representative of the Proud Boys. Proud Boy leadership was unapologetic about the violence in a live stream after the riots.
I've answered reporters for the past week that keep saying, well, the Proud Boys plan this, and this is stuff, and they told me to denounce it. Listen, I'm not going to denounce anything.
Terrio told the Journal that his and Big's comments in this show were expressing the views of Trump supporters who have felt marginalized by the system.
It's only going to get worse, and that's what people don't understand, is the more you push the bear, the more you poke the bear is going to come back.
A little something to think about. Well, Trump and Grandmaster Jay. If Grandmaster Jay was an agent, wouldn't he have been pardoned by Trump? It's a question we should ask. Now, there was a photo with Trump. There was a video of a Trump rally, strongest evidence of a connection between the two. I personally think that was more Grandmaster Jay trying to get Trump's attention than it was working with Trump, but that's just my personal opinion. It is strong evidence that there was a possible connection. Similarities between the two, Grandmaster Jay and Donald Trump. Again, we're just closing with something to think about. Both ran for president in 2016. Both have built followings on social media. Both are currently banned from being on social media. Both currently face legal problems. Both currently face a very loyal following. Both of them currently have very fervent detractors as well. Both have some who think that each one of them is Jesus, and there are those that think each one of them is Satan. The difference is black and white. There are two judicial systems, let's not forget that. One of the two have been charged with inciting the overthrow of the government by an armed mob on January 6th. One led peaceful, powerful, armed marches legally. One thinks he is America. One thinks America is not him. One is going to go to jail. One is going to remain free. Just something to think about. It's the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. Until next time, I love you all. Peace. Don't be a doofus.